is there's the old seat brackets are up underneath here, and that's what's holding the unit at the angle that it is, and then I just kind of welded these on for some extra support. But I'm thinking that I'm gonna cut these off, and I'd like to cut these seat bracket mounts off, just because the whole rear is kind of tipped down just that little bit. And if I could raise it up just that 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch there to get that down, I think that would be a win, just to give us a little bit better angle on the actual engine. And right now it sits a little raked, and if I calm that down, that'll be good. What I'm thinking about here is if I weld some angle iron or something across here, or maybe a piece of flat steel that I can notch, have it so it bolts through here, because then currently, other than this weld and this weld, I can actually unbolt the whole engine assembly and take it out the bottom. And I would like to continue to keep that, just in case if I ever have to do anything to this, it wasn't designed to be in here, so obviously it's going to be very challenging. But that's where we're at right now. So I'm gonna get going with trying to find some parts, and we'll get back to it. So I got these brackets cut out of here, and then as soon as I cut these two that were just kind of holding it on, it got a little bouncy. I figured it would have gone up, but because of the teeter point of this, the golf cart, this part that's bouncing, is currently forward heavy. The ATV, which is all back here, is tail heavy. So I'm gonna get a hammer, we're gonna pound these out of the way, and then we're gonna see how much we can fold this thing back. We might also let it down a little further on the lift, just to, that would do it for us. Nope. Yeah, I think that's going to work pretty good. When in doubt, use more ratchet straps. It's still at quite the angle, but it is better. Yeah, so we'll just leave this on here for now until I'm ready to get this mounted up the way I want to. When you tell yourself you're going to work on one thing, and then that turns into something else, what we have turned this into is, for right now, is I'm going to cut little circles in there to try to get that little bit more drop out of it. So what I did here is I used the Sawzall and I cut up to, there's an inner structure here too. I cut up to that, so I know we're not going to be able to go any further than that. So I just made some marks here of what I need to cut out at. There's one. And with it being over the carburetor and the air filter and stuff, that's why I put this in here. And it worked well. I'm going to lower this down because we're fighting each other. So I have the two mounts in the front where the pegs were, and then 6 inches forward where I went into the factory golf cart chassis. I think that's what's binding me up right now from going any further, but we might hit her with a hammer or use some brute force. It's right here. Bring you guys all the way in and show you what's going on and what we're doing here. So here's the factory pegs for the four-wheeler. They're mounted to the factory section of the frame, and I cut it right here. So if we take okay, it's time for the gun. You can see it relax a little bit, but right there you can see that's where I have the factory. That's the factory pivot point from the golf cart itself. And then I added this, but now we should, at least back here on this side, be able to go down. So let's get the other side done. Here's another view of that drive shaft. Yes, it's painted green. Going through that loop and back to the spline. Honestly, I was expecting more drop, but I think I just found a little bit of our culprit. After doing that, I noticed that. So we're just gonna nip this off and keep on going from there. We'll see what that gets us. Now we got a little bit more to do there. Trying to see here, how low can we go? I hadn't even been there that long, it's already starting to rub. Yeah, fix that up. Why did we just get past? So yeah, I can feel as we're sitting on the understructure, at least on this side. That side might need just a little bit more nip at the top there, because I feel like it's not quite. When you're trying to do something and you're overpowering everything and you forgot to take out your clamp and you kind of make it into a really bad angle, because it's the thing that was holding you up. That's okay. It was really bad anyway. We'll get a new one. But now, look at that. All the way down. Now let's check that bottom angle. Oh yeah. I don't know how well you can see this. Let me grab the light. So here's the flatness of what we consider flat for the main body. This is the main tube that was in the golf cart, and that rail in there is the four-wheeler. They used to be at pretty good an angle. Now, I mean, we're pretty close. We're a lot better than I thought we were going to be. I like that. And it doesn't really affect anything as far as any other factors. Just gets it up in there a little bit higher. I suppose we should make sure the seat shuts before I start saying anything. All good there right now. Look at that. We are now hitting the seat on the rails. But I don't know if we're going to change that. We might just modify this a little bit to sit up a little bit higher, because it's not exactly a... I don't notice the difference in sitting in it. And if it's sitting on those rails, that's extra support over there. The only thing that we'd have to do is, I guess we'd have to raise this pad that contacts this pad, and then lower that hook a little bit, or raise that hook a little bit, but I don't know. Or maybe we'll just smash it with a hammer. I can easily cut these out of here. They're not really doing anything. Now that our frame is sitting on it, you can see how tight we are here. That's what it's doing. I would say that if I was going to cut this, I think I would heat this up or cut this out completely and bend it down and leave it connected in there, or weld another piece of bar stock in here just to give it that structure back. So otherwise we have the weight of the ATV sitting on the golf cart chassis that is, you know, this tube would just be kind of floating out there in the middle of nowhere. So we'll do that. As far as this other side, it's got these electronics on there and everything, but that's not exactly the end of anything. We could take that whole tab off. All of those things will come off there, no problem. We could relocate them, which might actually make life a lot easier if everything wasn't up against this carburetor. If we took those things out, over, up, down, somewhere else. I'm kind of liking that idea. So yeah, I think we'll just keep on cutting and welding. And I still haven't gotten the wiring for the fuel pump. But that's what happens. You get going on one thing and then you decide you want to try something else, or something stares at you and you're on to the next portion. I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit more, and then I think we'll start. I just got all the electricals kind of put back into place. I need to extend one wire because the battery used to be in back, now it's in the middle. So I had one wire that was short, so the battery's disconnected. But maybe we'll take all of that wiring we can out of there, so when we're cutting and welding, we're not causing any issues, and get everything free and clear, and then we can get those things remounted better. Okay. There we go. T30. Ooh, we're getting lucky today. Sweet. See if this thing works today. Set the coil off to the side. The starter solenoid, and we need to replace the cable because apparently I was kind of rigging it in there so it would work temporarily. So yeah, I'm thinking if we just cut that off, it's a really nice little mounting bracket, and maybe even put it down here. That'd be kind of slick if we could get it to function like that. So I'm going to cut it right at the edge of this mount, just at the Sawzall, right there. And then that should give us enough that if we wanted to put something in here, or when we put something in here, it'll go fine. And I'm actually kind of looking at this. See how this has this kind of this bend to it here? If we cut this off, we might be able to spin it around and aim it back and get it to, well, we need more angle than what we have, but. So I'm going to leave this a little proud. We can always trim it down later if we have to. That gives us some options. Did have a little bit of tension on it yet. There we go. And I did cut that a little bit of an angle, so if we're adding something in there, it's already kind of partially at an angle. But you can see how rusty this unit really was from sitting around, and then Minnesota probably was an ice fishing rig and never got cleaned off. So I might as well do the same exact thing to this side in kind of the same area. Everything's vibrating off. There we go. Okay, this one's going to be a little more challenging. I just don't want to remove the fuel tank. Just call it laziness. But we got it. Bet you the seat shuts. Yep. It is 1-inch pipe. Trying to figure out if I wanted to order any more dies for the pipe bender, and I'm thinking a 1-inch pipe just for all of these type of projects. Anything that's small, you're not going to put 1.5-inch internal pipes in here just to have it that way, because it just look at the main structure of the unit, how much just overkill that is compared to what the rest of the chassis is. So I got 1.5-inch dies, so that'll be for the roll cage and stuff. Obviously we'll use that, but for the some of the structure and stuff, because it would be really slick to come up and put just a 90-degree bend in here and connect those two on both sides. But we will see how it goes. I mean, I could completely cheat. That side's harder to cheat on because of the exhaust. But like on this side, I could just take a piece of metal and go straight down and be done, nip this off and have this all open, or put the electronics there and never worry about anything. But lots of mock it up, try it, start over. These things will sit on here like this, and I'm just going to rotate them down to 45. It'll give me the correct clearances for everything. To sit on here, I can still get at the bolts from the back side to get to everything. And we used our handy dandy pipe polisher here. Like that. And that was just a few seconds that it, 10 seconds that it took to clean that up like that. So we're going to get the welder hooked up so we can get that tacked in there, check it, and then burn her in. So I had two ways I can put this starter cylinder. Ooh! Oh, let me put another tack on that. That is not. As good as I thought it was. There. If you go on like this, which would be basically how it was from the factory, backwards, should be pretty slick and easy. Just this wire has to be wrapped back around here. Plug right in, no problem. And here's the coil. If I reclock that, that would be slick. I should be able to. Yeah, no issues whatsoever. So that is going to be its new home. I hope I like it there, because it is going to be a bitch to take off if I ever had to do it. So yeah, we'll let that cool, get some paint on it. We can bolt all the electronics back on it, and one more problem solved.